Okay, on the show this evening, I will be joined by, speaking of music that's old, you remember Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, or OMD, to give her their hipper, kid-friendly name. Andy McCluskey and Paul Humphreys will be on the show. They've got a new album out, The Punishment of Luxury. I've had a listen to it. It comes out in September. Really good stuff, especially if you like your kind of older style EDM. And so they'll be talking to me about that, and also choosing their buried treasures. That's the top of the show. Also, there's a big exhibition going on called Soul of a Nation, Art in the Age of the Building. I'll be talking to them after this, which is their new single, I believe. Is this the single? Yeah, we're going to play the single. So this is Isotype, the single from their forthcoming album. Das ist the Isotype. That's not actually officially the single. That's a teaser single, I was just told. I don't know really what that means, but I was told that. By Paul and Andy from OMD. They're in the studio. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Greetings.
Yeah, nice to be here.
So it's great to have you back. 4 years since the last album, which doesn't. It's not a long time. It's not like you've been away. Presumably, it wasn't like you stopped doing stuff and you started again. I'm assuming you were promoting that and working and just living, were you?
We did. I mean, I have to be honest, though, we did largely stop for 12 months because, unfortunately, just before the tour finished, our drummer Malcolm Holmes suffered a cardiac arrest in Toronto. He's still alive, we hasten to add, but we just stopped and thought, we're not going to do anything, give him 12 months to just see how he feels.
But that wouldn't, I would have thought, because your music isn't, I know it's rhythmic, but it isn't drum heavy in the sense that you wouldn't think it's not like he's Ginger Baker out there going crazy. So I imagine that he had, was it an age thing, issue thing, diet, what was it?
He had already had two heart attacks and triple bypass surgery. So
one might have known that something might occur. So we send him our best wishes, of course.
We do indeed.
Yeah, he's fine. He lives in Germany.
Is he back on the stool, back with the sticks in his hands? Or is he taking it easy?
He can't. His doctors say he can't play live.
Okay. That must be a horrible thing for him.
It's really it's very difficult when we go out on the road, actually, because his Facebook lights up and all of these things.
It's kind of heartless of you, really, to even consider it.
Cruel. We are.
And yet you're sitting here promoting a new album and probably going to talk about a tour, I imagine.
Yeah, we've got a big tour coming up.
Well, let's put your dark nature aside for one moment. So I imagine recording a new album today must be substantially different to when you first started. When did you first? What was the year you first came together and started making music?
It was 1978 was when we first started. The band OMD, but we started writing 2 years before that.
So you were just kids then when you were
16.
Yeah. I mean, we've known each other since we were 7 years old.
Wow.
And the technology we had then was my old second-hand left-handed bass guitar, a thing he made called the Noise Machine, because that's all it made. That's all it did.
Surely
didn't even have a keyboard.
Surely that should be the album title.
The Noise Machine.
It made horrible noises.
Where is the Noise Machine now?
It just disintegrated. I think. I mean, it barely worked at the time.
I'm kind of sad to hear that then about your drummer, to be honest with you, because the noise. Well, he's fine. He's survived.
Yeah,
the Noise Machine.
The Noise Machine.
There'll never be another.
There'll never be another.
It may well. The components may still be in the attic in Frankby Road in Mells. But
my challenge to you, gentlemen, obviously, is to come back one time with the Noise Machine.
With the Noise Machine.
Or a replica of.
Yeah.
Can you still solder?
I can, actually. I'm still a nerd.
Good to know you've got someone to fall back on.
Exactly. If all this collapses.
So the Noise Machine, which I'm now... Basically, that's all I'm interested in. This was an early attempt to make, a synthesizer, or just something to change sounds as it went through it?
Well, basically, we were interested in electronic music, but we couldn't afford the synths at the time.
No one could. No young band could.
No, I mean, Kraftwerk were wealthy to begin with, so they could afford to even get things made for them.
That's a dig right there. There's a dig. You clearly never got over that. You just want to. I mean, obviously, Kraftwerk could have come up with talking to you, but
working class with a chip on his shoulder.
Wow,
exactly. Yeah, we were working class boys from Liverpool with no money.
Hey, listen, look at those rich Germans.
Yeah, Jonathan, we had done 6 concerts borrowing synths off people until we finally bought a synthesizer from my mother's mail order catalogue. $7.76 a week for 36 weeks.
And what was the make of that synth?
Korg.
Micro preset.
So that's a pretty good machine.
So it was I mean,
have you ever heard one?
Yeah, I have heard one.
It's variations of.
But isn't that all you need? I mean, Bowie just used the stylophone on Space Oddity, and that was like about 7 shillings.
Yeah, so we used to process it through echo things just to make it sound half decent, but it was really basic. But at least it made. You could actually play tunes on it. The machines I had built before, because I was interested in electronics.
So you were techie anyway.
I was techie. Electronics was my hobby, which is why I used to build all these noise machines that made crazy noises.
There was more than one noise machine? This is once again breaking news here. How many noise machines did
I even built a drum machine.
Okay.
We don't want to get too nerdy, but I did build a drum, like sounds from a drum machine, but you could play it physically like Kraftwerk.
Ahead of your time. But they had money.
but they had.
They
money.
had
yeah,
money,
they didn't
we-
need
Actually, the reason why we
But they haven't got
started-
anecdotes like yours now, you see. This is the...
No, they didn't build that up. But no, the reason why we actually started doing music together was a symbiotic relationship. I had the records,
Yeah.
and he had a stereo.
You had the record and the talent. You had the noise machine, right?
Yeah.
Is that the way? Is that what you're heading towards?
And then we
would say
tossed
that.
the coin to see who was going to be the bad dancer.
And you both won.
We both won, yeah. Have you seen me dance?
Well, that brings me to Perform Me Now then, because the show, you were never known for your kind of like moving around on stage. Obviously, it didn't suit the kind of music. You weren't...
You're talking to Paul now. You have heard about the way I dance.
Well,
with my school of windmill.
But it wasn't like that was why we went. You know what I mean? It was like... Do you think it was?
People come specifically to take the mickey out of my dancing, I think.
They went to the school of overcompensation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was it. He was stationary, so I overcompensated.
But now, today,
No, I
as
still
mature,
do.
sophisticated
No,
adults...
No, he still dances around like an idiot.
You still do it?
Yeah.
The thing is, I did intend to have some dignity in my middle age, but faced with a live audience and the music, I just can't
You
help
can't control...
I can't help
He just
myself.
can't
In a
stop
way
himself.
that's very pure
Yeah.
and sad.
Yeah, and it's the amount of cortisone injections I have to have in my left knee now.
I mean, we've all heard the phrase "dance like nobody's watching," but you know people are watching.
Yes, dance like thousands are watching.
Yeah,
yes,
so,
I know.
but hats off to you. Congratulations.
It's a shamanistic trance thing.
Have
It's
you ever-
exercising my personal demons in public?
Have you ever given Arlene Phillips a call? Have you ever thought about Craig Revel Horwood? Have you ever thought about just get some basic steps? I mean, there are tutorials on YouTube of how to do the I believe it's called the dab. I mean, you could better that.
The problem is I'm a bass player. I can only count to 2.
Yeah. Okay, so but exciting that the new album is out, and a great sound. I've listened to I think most of it, not all of it. I only got sent the other day. Really enjoying it. Now, one track along, the one which is the kind of the opus on it, is about 7 minutes long. Starts with Birdsong. Either Birdsong or one of you is a very good whistler. Which is it?
It is Birdsong. I'm talking about the song Ghost Star.
Yes, very nice track, really beautiful track, very atmospheric.
Yeah.
And then vocals come in. There's a female vocalist on the album with you as well. Who's that?
Well, there's various voices of talking women, but
It's
no one.
text
sings.
to
Oh, so
speak.
that's why-
you
yeah.
program it in, and it's spoken back.
You can find
to
them on the internet. It's text to speech.
Is that what you do?
That's what we do.
That's how he finds his women. Yep.
How did you
The internet's a
survive
wonderful
before the
thing.
internet? I don't know how, because you were a band who was waiting for the internet to happen.
We were a band
Thankfully,
that was
Kraftwerk invested a lot of their cash and they built the internet for you.
Did they?
Yeah,
Computer love.
So the Birdsong, though, is that just grabbed from somewhere, or did one of you go out and actually record it?
Part of it is recorded and part of it is grabbed from a library. It actually comes from a specific memory of standing on the estuary at Port Merion, hearing curlews echoing across the water. And it's a very haunting sound, and that's the sound that was recorded. Yeah.
I like to think of you, one of you going out with a kind of a tape recorder over one shoulder, though, and a directional microphone.
Oh, yes, it has been done on a number of
have done that,
occasions, and this is actually probably one of the most organic things we've ever recorded. Normally, we're recording clanking machinery and steam engines and refineries.
But this is one of the things we love about you, is you have no right to be in a band, really. You should be collecting airplane numbers or train numbers on a
we
station
do.
on your own. I mean,
we
this
do
is-
that too. Yeah,
it's like a double life.
we
is
are
it.
nerds.
Yeah.
We only tour in order to go to airports and galleries and museums.
There's still
train stations.
2 or 3 A-roads they haven't experienced, and so they will be playing in very obscure places. But it must be exciting when a new album comes out, knowing that you're going to give it to the world, and at the same time, even with your success and even with your reputation, I would imagine somewhat daunting.
Yeah, I mean, I do have to say, though, I think being in OMD now is probably more fun than it ever was, because we have this kind of newfound freedom to do whatever we want. You know, we don't have to make records, we don't have to tour, so we do it because we love it. And
It's dangerous because it could be self-indulgent, so you have to be good at editing yourself. And but I think, as Paul said, nobody's telling us to make a record. It's quite cool to be Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark. So the last thing we want to do is make a really dud record.
Hang on,
Jonathan,
before
it
you
is.
make that
Sorry.
pronouncement. I
No,
mean, before
sorry.
you...
No.
I mean, I just don't want you to be a hostage to fortune.
No, listen. No, it's
I mean,
okay.
but what I'm going to say is, you shouldn't say that yourself. That's all I'm saying. Let others say that to you.
yeah,
but I was going to back it up by saying that's why we have to make a good record.
You do make good records anyway.
Thank you.
I mean, you don't have to back it up.
Can
with
we
that.
rewind this then?
No, we're putting that out there.
People have
can
told
we
me
edit
it's
that
cool
out?
to be.
Don't feel bad about it. I was reading from the Johnny Richards band's notes. He used to call himself one of the 7 wonders of the world. You haven't gone that far
Yet.
Although he
Yeah,
did play
there's
a
still
lot of
time.
instruments. He did play a lot of instruments. Okay, we're going to
Any
play
of
a
them
track.
noise machine? No.
Back then in 1958,
There must have been noise machines back then.
everything was a noise machine. A harmonica, that's all they called. He probably had a washboard. You ever used a washboard in your music?
That's the only thing we never did.
I bet you've used a saw.
Yeah.
I'm sure we
But
have.
mainly to chop up other people's radios for him to make noise machines out of.
For Paul to angrily take out his feelings about Kraftwerk, sawing through vinyl in the background. Let's not even start in yellow. He had money. Okay, which one of you chose this Mortal Coil?
Me.
Okay. You want to tell us why?
Oh,
Or
I
just
see.
gonna let it hang
I thought
there?
you were about to play it.
Well, we can straight away, but I figured you might want to introduce it by way of. I mean, I remember this band. Are they still together?
No, it was more of a project. It was Liz Fraser from the Cocteau Twins, and Cocteau Twins are kind of one of my favourite bands, and Liz Fraser has one of the world's most beautiful voices, I think. But I got myself a deck. Because I'd found all my vinyl in the attic and I wanted to play
This
it.
is a story that resonates with middle-aged men everywhere in the country
Exactly.
right now.
Yeah.
And women.
Yeah. So I found, and one of the first records I found out of the box was
What a find.
Song to the Siren.
12-inch single. Was it on the Mute label or Beggar's Banquet?
Beggars Banquet.
Yep.
And Liz Fraser's got a beautiful voice, but you can never understand the lyrics. So, I mean, she just sings, it's like an instrument for her. And so I thought, right, I'm going to Google the lyrics and work out exactly what she's singing.
Well, don't tell us yet. Let's play it.
Play it and
See
then
if
we'll
people
tell you.
can figure out at home. And when we come back, we will do a kind of comparison test here. What you think you hear and what we now know is, if we can believe the internet, is actually being sung. This is the incredible sound of this Mortal Coil song, To the Siren.
On the floor there.
That's a beautiful sound, isn't it? Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah, gorgeous.
we were just chatting. Paul was saying about the lyrics. He didn't know what they were, and you've searched online. So what did you think she was singing, and what did you find out she was singing?
Well, what was it? The first thing I discovered when I found the song online was that it was actually written by Tim Buckley. Now he's an American folk singer. Now he had an incredible voice. I'm not really into American folk, but he's written some amazing songs, and this was one of them. And basically, Tim died of a heroin overdose when he was 28, and he had a son called Jeff Buckley, who was also a most incredible singer. But Jeff died drowning in the Mississippi River when he was 28. Now, no one really knows if it was suicide or an accident, but he died. But the interesting thing about the lyrics is that it's almost like a premonition, because if you look at the last verse, it says, "I'm puzzled as a newborn child, I'm troubled as the tide. Should I stand amid the breakers? Should I lie with death, my bride? Hear me sing, swim to me, swim to me. Let me enfold you. Here I am, waiting to hold you."
Well, I thought you were going to say something funny, I'll be honest.
Sorry,
with you.
but, you know.
it's a very powerful thing to say. Who knows? A self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts.
It could have been a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Terribly sad that they both died so young, of course, and such enormous talents. Because one of them wrote Lilac Wine, didn't he? Was that Jeff who wrote Lilac Wine?
I think it was Jeff, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
But Jeff, had a voice like chocolate, I mean, he did Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, and I think that's still, for me, the best version of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah.
So a beautiful song, and you actually toured or performed with this Mortal Coil, didn't you?
Well, we toured with Cocteau Twins, yes, in the 80s.
Back in 1983, yeah, a long time ago.
Now, have you ever encountered that with your lyrics? You've either forgotten them or you've seen sort of weird...
Actually, do you know what?
Yesterday.
We were rehearsing yesterday a song, and I couldn't for the life of me remember that. So I thought, I'll Google my own lyrics. Metro lyrics, OMD, did it? Yeah, right. Started singing them, and then they went, "What's wrong?" I went, "They're the wrong lyrics online." I'm going to have to contact them and correct them.
But then, were they better lyrics or worse lyrics? Here's the thing.
Oh, no, because they were done phonetically, so it made no sense whatsoever.
Some OMD fan just listening to
It's like
that.
they've been translated into Chinese and then back again.
Well, thanks for sharing that beautiful piece of music now. And then, Andy, you have something as well, don't you?
Two of our buried treasures are music, and two of them are actually machines.
Okay, let's do your machine.
My machine is the Newcomen atmospheric engine from 1712. Wow. Giant beam engine. I like the primitive nature of it. Imagine Stonehenge driven by steam. It's like that big and huge rocking beam engine. And it's a buried treasure because James Watt gets all the credit for being sort of the father of the Industrial Revolution, his steam engines, but he just tweaked Newcomen's idea and then took the patent out on it.
Like Edison and Tesla. This is
all
yes,
over.
yeah,
Exactly, yeah. So Newcomen is largely forgotten, and James Watt gets all the credit. But the Newcomen engine basically was a giant, big, nodding beam engine that was used for pumping water out of coal mines.
Where's is it on display somewhere? Can we see it somewhere?
There is one that still works at the Black Country Museum in the Midlands. There's another Watt beam engine in the Science Museum, actually. Boo, I know, the Johnny come lately. But do you know the difference in James Watt and Newcomen? The Newcomen engine was 1712 and the Watt was in the 1770s. That's the difference between the Wright brothers and Concorde.
That's almost 60 years. That's a long chunk of time there. Yeah. Do you think Watt deliberately left it that long, thinking everyone will have forgotten?
No, he was just born later than Newcomen. But it was so I just love these big clunking machines that the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. But do you know how inefficient it was? 0.5% of the energy of the coal it burnt actually went into pumping the water.
Not exactly hugely efficient.
That's why they were all used in coal mines.
It still made a difference.
It did make
you something back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just, like Paul, I find aesthetics in industrial machinery.
Yeah.
So.
But you were kind of perhaps ahead of your time a little bit there, because of course we've caught up with you now. Now you can't move for exposed brickwork and the machinery and the innards of what's going on display on walls in houses and shops everywhere. Paul, let's get back to you for your machine, and then we'll finish with your piece of music, Andy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my being a nerd, I want to talk about the Colossus. In sort of April of 2010, we played the National Museum of Computing, which is at Bletchley Park. It was very flattering that they asked us to perform at the opening of the Computing Museum. Now that was where all the code breaking was, and I mean, that's where Alan Turing, did his, the electromagnetic bomb, as it was called, to break the Enigma machines. But following on from that, the first proper computer that was a programmable computer was made, called the Colossus. And we got to see it because we went to Bletchley Park, and I looked at this machine and went, oh my God, this is just incredible. There's 2,600 valves in it.
He nicked half of them for another noise machine.
I can imagine as well.
You weren't supposed to tell anyone that.
It probably did 1,000th of what we can do now with a phone. But the computing ability back then would have been radical and revolutionary.
Yeah, and it kind of followed on from Turing's code breaking, and actually the Colossus helped the D-Day landing because it helped to break even more complicated codes. So I mean, that was amazing. But what's kind of lost treasure about it is that or buried treasure about it is that it just is integrated, and they nick parts for other things, and it stopped it.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so basically they found in like files and cupboards and stuff the kind of the basic drawings for Colossus.
Wow.
And it took them 15 years to rebuild it, but it's there and
does
it's
it work?
working. It works.
Oh man, that's amazing. And I bet it looks beautiful.
Museum. It looks just the most incredible thing.
Does it light up?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have me already.
But I mean, with 2,600 valves, you can imagine the heat coming out.
It must throw off quite a lot of heat, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the centre of the earth, I would imagine.
Wow, that's incredible. And you can go. Can regular folk go and visit, or do you have to be gigging there?
No.
You can go in.
We did a gig to open the museum, but it's you can just go as a regular museum and just go in and see all the computers.
So that's the Colossus of Bletchley Park. And Andy, let's go back to you now for your choice of music.
Another rather sad song, actually. If I was to mention the names Rufus Wainwright and Martha Wainwright and Loudon Wainwright,
we'd all know them.
You'd know them.
Who doesn't celebrate that family?
Yeah, but the other member of the family that's perhaps forgotten is Kate McGarrigle, who is Rufus and Martha's mother, who was married to Loudon, and when he left her holding the baby, literally, Rufus, she wrote the saddest song in the world. And I'm a synth boy, this is just her voice and her guitar breaking her heart in tears. A song called Go Leave.
Well, thank you both for coming in. Thank you for bringing us down with tales of an ill drummer and suicide foretold and a woman wrecked by emotional turmoil. It's always a pleasure.
We're dark souls.
To have you
What
here
can I
at the
tell you?
show. Next time you come back, you know what you got to bring, or you're not invited. You know what you got to bring.
A noise machine.
The noise machine.
You mean what?
I thought you'd forgotten already.
You got the memory of a goldfish. How do you ever build anything?
I'm going to have to knock on the door of the house I used to live and see if it's still in the
Never
attic.
mind, I don't care what you have to do.
No.
All right? I'm not sitting there telling you how I got into work this morning. You've got to do it. All right?
All right, I'll do it.
Challenge accepted?
Challenge accepted.
Okay, and then on to Eurovision. Okay,
Yeah, right.
so let's reset our mood then, because this is going to be a sad song. I don't think I've heard this, but this sounds beautiful, and I'm a huge fan of Rufus in particular, but Loudon and Martha as well. Incredible talents. This is Kate and Anna McGarrigle. This is Go Leave, and thank you to Andy and Paul from OMD. Their new album is out in September. Punishment of Luxury. It's very good indeed.
Go leave.
A beautiful sound there. That's Anna and Kate McGarrigle, and thank you to OMD for their selections and just being fun. Okay, I'll be talking to Zoe Whitley